Less than 2 weeks ago, everything seemed normal. We were enjoying the first signs of spring and preparing for a little trip to Sweden that was in the works for about a year now. We could hear the thunders of a distant storm, but the sun was shining, so we didn't worry too much about it. The day before leaving, a lockdown was announced. Some products started disappearing from the shops. It was like a strange déjà vu of my childhood. We considered postponing the trip, but in the end decided to go. And I'm glad we did, because now nobody knows when things will be normal again. All of a sudden, we were caught in a snowstorm. The journey took us 3 trains, a bus, and finally a taxi. Until we finally made it deep in the Swedish countryside, where we were going to spend 6 blissful days. As soon as we arrived, we went for a walk to explore our surroundings and to see the lake. No visible signs of spring yet. Every time I'm in a place like this, I ask myself, why do I keep going back to the city?
Fits, but I mean that's just not that style. No, it's not this. It does not.
The next morning was nice and sunny. It was going to be the warmest day of our stay, so we went for a hike. The forest was half sunk in water. We had to abandon the path because it was too wet and muddy, and we tried to find our way through the forest. I discovered some nice moss I haven't seen before. It had the most beautiful soft pale green color, and it looked like a soft and fluffy carpet, covering everything. At this point we were a little bit lost. We were surrounded by wet swampy forest and weren't quite sure how to make it back to dry land. A nice little adventure. This place must be stunning in spring and summer, but also probably hard to reach once all the grass, fern and shrubs grow back. On the other hand, it's probably nice here all year round. Finally found the way out of the swamps. And my shoes somehow remained dry. I think I was the only one. I've lived in different countries and many different cities, but the one place I always feel the most at home is when I'm in nature. And I hope I can make my home in a place like that someday. The next day was rainy, so we all stayed home and worked. No internet, no people nearby, not much news. It was a productive and cozy day. Too bad we couldn't spend the entire period of isolation in a place like this. And a time for another hike. This time the roads were a bit drier. The forest reminds me of the mountains back home, but it also feels different. There were blueberry bushes everywhere. So many different shades of green that my camera can't unfortunately pick up on. I developed a bit of an obsession with cozy stumps covered in moss. We were followed by some dark rainy clouds. But we kept walking towards the blue skies. I expect I'll see a surge of stump sketches in my sketchbook soon. That and maybe blueberries. The rain finally caught up with us, but it was soft, fresh and friendly kind of rain. So we kept going. The last day I went for one last walk alone. It was a moment of quiet gratitude and admiration. And a bit of nostalgia already. And then it was time to go back to reality. To the new reality.